The lawsuit against the company that owns and operates immigration detention facilities across the U.S. is going to trial. GEO is being sued for how it allegedly treated people detained there. The lawsuit accuses GEO of forcing detainees to clean the facility for $1 a day or face solitary confinement. GEO runs the ICE facility in Aurora. GEO argued it is protected under a federal law that shields government contractors from lawsuits while carrying out federal orders. The judge ruled the local facility is not protected under that. So joining us now is 9 News legal expert Whitney Traylor. Whitney, first and foremost, what does this ruling mean for GEO as a group and then as it relates to the class action?
Right, so that was a great lead-in. That explained really the case and the defense that GEO's trying to put on, which essentially they're arguing sovereign immunity. But GEO, as you said, is a private entity that has this contract with ICE. This ruling was actually a summary judgment motion where they were trying to get the case dismissed before it even gets to a jury. And judges will grant those from time to time, but here what was important was the judge said no, disagreed with it, allowed the case to go forward, including the class action.
So is the problem the people in the facility being paid only $1 a day to do some of this work, or is it people who are being told if they don't do the work, they're going to face some sort of solitary confinement?
Right, it's both, but more so the latter, because essentially what they're arguing is that so ICE pays GEO $1 a day to pay these detainees for certain work. What GEO did was say, well, we want you to do more work than what we're actually being paid for. And it wasn't part of their policy. So what they said to the detainees is, you either do this or you're going to go to solitary. And that's where one of the claims is a trafficking claim that says this is essentially coerced labor, if you will.
Yeah, and this facility doesn't have like a sparkling clean reputation. 3 people have died at this facility, one back in 2017, one we just learned about this week.
That's correct.
I mean, how does that factor in?
Well, that's relevant in terms of, one, the ongoing contract, but secondly, there's lawsuits, and this one that you just mentioned, they're just starting to look into that, and they haven't determined what the cause of the death was. So this just raises suspicion about how things are being operated there. And why this is relevant is because if the judge had granted the summary judgment, the case would have been over, they could have appealed. But here now, unless they settle, or there could be other motions, they're going to get to tell their story in front of a jury, and that's significant.
How difficult is that, though, when you talk about the privatization of things like prisons and these facilities as well, ICE facilities? It becomes more slippery to try and find the person or the entity that is really, in the case of a class action lawsuit,
right,
committing something that you want fixed.
That's exactly right. So if it was the government, if it was ICE operating it, they would have something called sovereign immunity, where you can't sue the government unless they say you can sue us for these reasons. So a lot of times it's hard to sue the government. What GEO argued was the derivative sovereign immunity, saying, hey, we're operating this contract with ICE. The reason the court ruled against them is because they did more than what the ICE contract said. So they went beyond it. So the court said, no, you're now essentially operating on your own.
That's a big difference. That's a big difference for GEO then, to not have that immunity, to not be considered an arm of the government, to be considered a private entity.
That's exactly right. And throughout the litigation, they'll continue to try to assert that. But as far as it goes now, if the court said, yes, you get that sovereign immunity, then the case would have been over. So it's significant.
Well, it's something we're going to follow for sure. It's always good to talk to you about it, though, and learn more. Thanks, Whitney.
All right. Good to be here.